Hello, welcome to my Q&A video. I sent the word out there about a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, asking for questions for this Q&A video. So everyone who sent a question in, thank you very much. And let's just start from the beginning, or from the latest question to the first question. Firstly, I just subbed, says The Real Heel. Thank you very much. Do you see WWE going TV 14 anytime soon? Before I start with these questions, I'll try and see if I can work this out where after I've uploaded this video and I've got the time, I'll kind of leave a little link somewhere to maybe skip to like the movie questions, because I know some people follow me for the movie stuff and some people follow me for the wrestling stuff. So I would say hopefully I'll be able to do something with that. Anyway, do you see WWE going TV 14 anytime soon? No, I don't. WWE have been PG for years now, and I think it works for them. They've got deals with companies like Mattel, and they've also got the Be a Star campaign and the anti-bullying stuff and the Make-A-Wish Foundation Association as well. WWE have got a lot going for them, and a lot of it is kid orientated. The last live show I went to in November, it was just kids everywhere. Kids are such a big part of the WWE's revenue, so from a business point of view, I don't think they're going to change it from PG. Although they have been pushing the boundaries the past year or so, ever since the summer of 2011. I feel, with swearing and stuff, saying ass and crap and bitch and stuff, they've been doing that a lot more in the past year or so. And I think you can push it a little bit with PG and TV 14. I don't think they're going to benefit too much from that. The only thing I think they're really missing is to sparingly use blood in matches. I think that maybe like this Sunday at WrestleMania 28, the Hell in a Cell match between Triple H and Undertaker could probably benefit from a bit of juice, if you know what I mean. But it's not a big loss. And then you see a company like TNA who just actually I'll talk about that in a minute, because the next question is, and my definitive answer is no. I don't think WWE will go to TV 14. I think they'll stay PG for a very long time. The next question from the Real Heel, sorry, is, do you think TNA will ever be the top wrestling company? No, definitely not. Not a shadow of a doubt in my mind. They will never be the top wrestling company in the world. WWE won this battle 15 years ago. It's over. There's no way anyone is ever going to come close to them. Even if TNA quadrupled their viewers, quadrupled their revenue and everything like that, they still wouldn't even be, within an arm's reach of WWE. They're just too far out in the stratosphere. WWE is just a global, just huge empire. TNA is never gonna be able to live up to that. Look at WCW. That had more money than than the people running that company had sense, and they still couldn't catch up with the WWE. I mean, they did for a couple of years, but WWE won in the end. It's never going to be a question in my mind that anyone's ever going to topple them, unless something happens 10, 20, 30 years down the line where WWE is no longer, but I can't see that happening either. So I don't think TNA will ever be the top wrestling company, regardless of the fact they've got amazing wrestlers, and it just doesn't seem like likable. It doesn't seem a likability. A likely, no, that's not a word. It doesn't seem likely. Okay, I'm trying to be all, hey, let's use some big words, but no, it's not a likely ability. No, it doesn't work, does it? It's not likely that TNA are ever going to be the top wrestling company, The next question is from Miss King Cog. What was the most expensive DVD or Blu-ray movie set you spent your money on and didn't like it? I can't really say I've spent a lot of money on a Blu-ray. Well, I can. But I can't say I've ever spent a lot of money on a Blu-ray or a DVD and not like it. I don't know. That's a hard one to answer. I guess I can answer Star Wars for that, because there's a few things I don't like about the Star Wars Blu-ray set. One is the edits on the films. I mean, at some point during the film, during the last film, The Return of the Jedi, near the end of the film, they just put something in that just totally ruins the whole kind of ending to me of the whole series, the whole saga. It was just so out of character for one person, and wow, what am I saying? Like I'm spoiling anyone. It's at the end when Darth Vader picks up the Emperor and throws him over the edge into the heart of the Death Star and kills him, thus saving his son Luke Skywalker. It's such a great moment of just kind of this Darth Vader's looking from Luke Skywalker getting tortured by the Emperor, and then looking at the Emperor as master, and he just kind of looks like that. and there's this kind of silent conflict going on behind the mask, and it's just epic. And then he picks up the Emperor and throws him off, and it's one of the greatest scenes in movie history. And then they decided for the Blu-ray to edit in Darth Vader going, "No, no." Oh, not good at all. Not good at all. So I guess I could say Star Wars because I really hated that, and also the fact that I haven't really watched it much. I watched the films and that's it. There's so many extras on there, I just haven't had the time to get around to watching them. So, and I've had it for like, I don't know, 6 months or something, and it did cost quite a lot of money. So I guess I'd answer that, but I still do really like it. If you had to give up a piece of your movie memorabilia in your next giveaway, what would it be? Nothing. There's nothing I have that's kind of movie memorabilia related that I'd want to give away. I don't have much either to begin with. I mean, I've got, you know, my picture with me and Christopher Lloyd, which is something you'd want to give away to someone. I got my big Back to the Future frame poster signed by Leah Thompson and Christopher Lloyd. Again, don't want to give that away to anyone. I guess if I had to, if I was held by gunpoint, it would be my my Star Wars DVDs that are signed by Kenny Baker, who plays R2-D2, Jeremy Bulloch, who plays Boba Fett, and David Prowse, who played Darth Vader. I'd probably give those away if I had to, because they're really, really cool, but like the least in my sort of modest movie memorabilia collection that I wouldn't be too devastated at parting with. The next question is from Save Us Liam, really cool YouTuber, you should check him out. If your house was on fire and you had to choose one wrestling and one film related memorabilia, what would it be and why? Oh yeah, thanks a lot for this, Liam. I read this question, I was kind of thinking over some of these questions about a week or two ago. And this one was really playing on my mind, and I kept thinking about like what would happen if our place was on fire and stuff, and it went beyond like Blu-rays and like stuff that I've collected, and it just went on to like, oh god, I'd have to make sure I get the cats and my fiance and my mum, and I was just getting really stressed out about it. I was having nightmares about it. So thanks a lot for that, you bastard. I'm kidding, but it really did bother me for a while. I was like, oh god, I stress about things a lot, and that just really pushed a few buttons. But it's a good question. One wrestling bit of memorabilia. It'd probably be the book that I got signed from Mick Foley, and it's not even a wrestling book. It's his first novel, Teton Brown. And it's the German version of it, so I can never read it. But he signed it to me personally, and it's a quote from Rocky 2, which I know he likes. And yeah, I bought it from his eBay store, and there's videos of me buying it and unpackaging it on my channel, so you can try and find them somewhere in the vast expanse of all my videos if you want. But he actually signed it to Luke. I'm trying to think, what did it say exactly? To Luke, my good friend, who I don't even know. It's a scene in Rocky 2 when he's in the hospital after the big fight from the first Rocky film, and this nurse comes in and says, "Hey, can you sign this to my friend?" I forget what the name is. "Can you just sign it to my good friend?" And so, "Oh yeah, sure." He signs it, and then she leaves, and he's like, "To my good friend, who I don't even know." So he signed that for me, and that was really cool, like a nice little personal piece of wrestling kind of memorabilia, I guess you could say. But otherwise, maybe my WrestleMania 20 limited edition box set, but then that's too big, so maybe my Bret Hart Wrestling with Shadows signed DVD signed by Bret Hart. That's really cool. And film related memorabilia, I'd have to go with the picture of me and Christopher Lloyd, purely for running out of the house while it's on fire reasons. I won't be able to take my Back to the Future poster, it's just too unrealistic to grab that as I'm running out the door. Next question is from R Chataway 87. He's a great film YouTuber, one of my favourites. Ryan Chataway, quite a good friend of mine as well. I speak to him a lot on Facebook and stuff. He's asked me 3 questions. The first one is, what's my favourite food? I'd have to go with pizza, I think, which is weird because when I was a kid, I never used to like pizza. I hated it. I hate cheese. Generally, as a rule, I hate cheese, but I love pizza. One of my favourite foods, and yeah, pepperoni pizza, you can't go wrong. I also like southern fried chicken or Cajun spiced chicken. Those are the 2 things that do it for me. The second question is, what's your favourite decade in film? Now, I thought about this one, and I'm going to have to go with the 80s. I was thinking, you know, maybe like the 40s or 50s, because I really appreciate films from that era, but I haven't seen enough of them. And I thought 60s, man, not so much. It was getting a bit experimental towards the end of the 60s. 70s, a lot of great films. 90s, the films I kind of get nostalgic about the most, because that's when I was growing up in the 90s, and the very late 80s. But the 90s, I don't know. I feel like there's not that many classics from the 90s. I think there's just something about that decade that, there's great films were made, but I think a lot of like okay films were made as well. I think the 2000s were, the first 10 years of 2000 were brilliant for film. But I'm going to go with the 80s because there's so many classics in the 80s, mainly comedies, but they're kind of my favourite films, like the classic 80s American comedies, like the John Hughes and the John Landis films, Blues Brothers, Planes, Trains and Automobiles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Trading Places, Coming to America, The Breakfast Club, Weird Science. There's loads of them, and I could go on and on. There's also like, really just great films generally from the 80s that I love, like Aliens, The Abyss. I'm sure I can think of a lot more as well. But yeah, I really like the 80s, and I could probably say that's probably the one decade that has the most films in it that are my favourites, I guess. And the third question he asked is favourite filmmaker. Now this is really, really tough. I got a lot of favourite filmmakers. Wes Anderson, James Cameron, Cameron Crowe, John Landis, Robert Zemeckis, Akira Kurosawa, Quentin Tarantino, Stanley Kubrick. There's a load of them. I guess when it comes to like favourite lists, I'm really good with the favourite films list. Filmmakers not so much. I don't know if I can pick one. If I could pick just a handful, I would say Akira Kurosawa, because I've only seen a few of his films, but I absolutely love them. He's a Japanese director from back in the 50s and 60s and beyond that, but he's passed away now. I'd say Quentin Tarantino. I love every single one of his films, and I just think he's brilliant, even though a lot of his films are just kind of like meshing loads of different genres together, but that's brilliant. Edgar Wright, actually, who's only directed 3 films so far, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz and Scott Pilgrim. I think he's a brilliant director, and I love Spaced as well, the TV show he worked on with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, among others. Robert Zemeckis, because he makes fantastic films, not least of all the Back to the Future trilogy, but also like Forrest Gump and films like that. He's brilliant, Robert Zemeckis. And then there's also Wes Anderson. He's probably one in the top 3 if I could list it. Wes Anderson, I love his films. He's amazing. I love his style. I love how you can look at a film and say that's Wes Anderson style, and that's brilliant when someone can do that. Same with Quentin Tarantino in a way as well, as the way he uses music and stuff. Cameron Crowe, one of my favourite things about him is the music, again, that he uses. Cameron Crowe used to be a music journalist, I believe, when he was a teenager, so he's got really great knowledge for music, and he just uses music so well. I went to see his new film yesterday, actually, We Bought a Zoo. The music was fantastic, so, and I really like his films. They're really kind of feel-good kind of films, and there's always they push all the buttons for me, Cameron Crowe films. Jerry Maguire, Almost Famous, fantastic. Vanilla Sky, love it, Elizabethtown, not so much, but We Bought a Zoo, again, love that film. So Cameron Crowe as well. I'm sure I'm missing someone. James Cameron. Now people can look at James Cameron and say, here's a guy who is like this almost an empire now, but James Cameron is badass. I'll tell you why. Yesterday it was reported on the internet, James Cameron became the first man to go solo into this, I forget what it was called, a trench in the ocean, and he went all the way down, like to almost like the furthest point down that anyone has ever been in the sea, and he's the first one to do it on his own. It was done before with more than one person, but he's the first one to go down there just on his own, so he's awesome. Just based on that, the whole Avatar thing, I think there's been a bit of a backlash towards him, just a tiny bit, because there's a lot of people who thought Avatar was really overhyped and, oh yeah, great graphics, shit story. I loved Avatar. I thought Avatar was brilliant. Can't wait for an Avatar sequel if it happens. But you just got to think about, the fact that he created the Terminator, that the Terminator came from a dream that James Cameron had, and he woke up and he sketched the Terminator, the endoskeleton. It's brilliant, It's such a huge part of pop culture now, the Terminator, and it's all from James Cameron. And he made the first 2 films, which are fantastic. He made The Abyss, which is brilliant. He made Aliens, another fantastic film, one of my favourites. Titanic, True Lies even, I love True Lies, he's a monster of filmmaking, and I love his films. That was a really long answer, I apologise, but I can't pick a favourite filmmaker. I love so many of them. Now we have Crazy WWE Kid. Your favourite WWE year post-Attitude Era. I would say, I don't know actually. If you could count 2003, I'd go with 2003. You know, the full return of Shawn Michaels was just something that's always gonna, you know, please me a lot. You know, I love all the 2003 pay-per-views, and just everything that was going on at the time. If not, I'd say maybe 2007. I don't know, because I didn't even watch much during 2007. So I don't know, I'm just going to go with 2003. Because between 2004 and 2009, I didn't really watch much. Your favourite WWE 3-disc set? I'm going to have to go with Heartbreak and Triumph, the Shawn Michaels story, which is the Shawn Michaels DVD that has the 2-hour documentary on his career. But very close to that would be the Chris Jericho Breaking the Code DVD, that's awesome. And also the Shawn Michaels vs. Bret Hart Greatest Rivalries DVD, although I only have that on Blu-ray, but if I had it on DVD, that would probably be my favourite actually. That's really awesome. And your favourite WWE/WWF pay-per-view? I'd say Royal Rumble 2000, really, without question. You got the brilliant opener, kind of almost the beginning of like the WWF era of tables being used all the time. It was the Dudleys and the Hardys in this mental tables match. It takes place in Madison Square Garden as well, which is just amazing, epic arena. And then you've got some other cool matches, but then you've also got Cactus Jack vs Triple H, my favourite match of all time. So I'm always going to go with that event. I love that event, Royal Rumble 2000. Then we have Mr. LFC WWE fan. Have you ever checked out my channel? No, I haven't, and I apologise for that. I feel like I'm subscribed to too many people, and I'm always trying to catch up on videos, but I see you comment on my videos all the time, man, and I appreciate that, so thanks, and I will check out your channel as soon as I can, I promise. Best movie and best WWE DVD. Best movie. Well, I'm going to leave the best movie one because I'm going to be doing a series soon where I'm going to count down my top 50 favourite films, which is an idea I've stolen from Ryan Chataway. So I'm going to leave that as a bit of suspense, although if you have watched a lot of my videos, you'll probably know what it is. And if you really want to know, I'll just message you, but I'm sure you're not that bothered what my favourite film is. My favourite WWE DVD, again, would probably be the Shawn Michaels Heartbreak and Triumph, or the Shawn Michaels vs. Bret Hart Greatest Rivalries DVD. Favourite WWE superstar? At the moment, Daniel Bryan. Love him, just a brilliant wrestler, and I love that he's finally kind of getting on top a little bit, although I do feel he's probably going to lose the title at WrestleMania and just go straight back down to being mired in the mid-card. Favourite year in the WWE, WWF? Now we're just talking any year, I would probably go with 2000. That was an amazing year, and that was the first year where I was fully into it the whole year, so 2000 without a doubt. So much goodness going on in 2000. I mean, not only were The Rock and Triple H on the top of their game, but you had like Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, and Chris Jericho coming in, and Kurt Angle as well, just dominating the scene. Amazing stuff. And then we have Tom EFC96 asking me, who do you think is a better actor, Leonardo DiCaprio or Tom Hanks? I don't know. You could go with Tom Hanks just because he's got more experience, but then I think Leonardo DiCaprio is a very good actor, although most of his characters are pretty similar. Like, they've always got some kind of internal struggle going on, I feel, or like the recent films I've seen anyway. But I think Leonardo DiCaprio is an amazing actor. He's really carved out a career for himself. I mean, after Titanic, he probably could have, you know, crashed and burned a bit, but he's really done well for himself. Tom Hanks, I'm probably going to go with Tom Hanks because I think Tom Hanks, like a lot of my favourite actors, started out as kind of a comedian and like a funny actor in films, and then just kind of branched out into serious films and just was even better at that as well, I feel. And yeah, I love Tom Hanks. I think he's really funny and he can be really cool in the serious role too. What's your favourite past or present wrestling belt design? Without a doubt, it's the WWF Eagle belt. Not the one that was used in the mid-90s, but the one that was used in the late 90s and early 2000s. The big round Eagle belt that Triple H used to have. I thought that was awesome. That's my favourite belt. You're in a Survivor Series tag team elimination match. Who would be your 4 partners? Interesting question. I would say Mr. Perfect, Shawn Michaels. Mr. Perfect is now, you know, he's passed away. He's no longer with us. So if I can have you know, people who aren't with us anymore, I'd go with Owen Hart as well, and I'd go with Bret Hart. So Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Mr. Perfect would be the team I'd be on. And who would be your 5 opponents? Well, maybe it'd probably be better if I put Mr. Perfect on the team I'd be against, because he was a great heel. So another person I'd have on my team would be, ooh, yeah, Randy Savage. So me, Randy Savage, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, and Shawn Michaels against Mr. Perfect, Stone Cold Steve Austin, a heel Stone Cold Steve Austin, a heel Rock, Cactus Jack, a heel Cactus Jack, and a heel Eddie Guerrero as well. There we go. Then we have Lil Nick Thug Life, I think that's how you say that. Do you think knowing more about the inner workings of the wrestling business affects your ability to watch it as a fan instead of a mark looking at the business side of everything? I think he's referencing the fact there that I used to wrestle, kind of amateur stuff, and I did a few indie shows. I think it does, yeah. Not too much though. I don't know, it's hard really. I like to just sit back and enjoy it as a fan. But I don't know, I like that. I like the fact because I know a lot more about like the technical side of wrestling. I don't claim to be a master of it, you know, but one of the things I was better at was pacing a match. And I really appreciate good pacing in a match when I watch it. I don't think anyone who's just a fan really realizes how important pacing and timing is. And those are two things I think I was the you know, better at than others. So yeah, I think it does kind of affect my my ability to watch it, but I like that, you know. Otherwise, you know, it does annoy me sometimes when I kind of like see when they're doing things and I know that they're like, oh, so this is where they're telling each other to do something, oh, they messed up there. Sometimes I'll be watching a wrestling show with my fiance, and I'm going, oh, do you see how they messed up there? And she's like, no. So again, I guess some of the little things I pick up on more than others. Then we have ECW Original 15. Do you watch TNA? No, I don't. Don't plan on either. Have you seen much of the original ECW? Not much, apart from like the Rise and Fall of ECW documentary, which is amazing. And I've seen like matches on compilations and stuff, and I did enjoy the original ECW, but I just haven't had the time to kind of like go back and really delve into the archives and footage and stuff that's available on DVD. I don't know if I'll even ever have the time, but I do really enjoy it, and I'd love to have the time to do that at some point. Did you watch WCW? Not really. I used to watch it when it was on Channel 5, anyone remembers that? And they used to like edit out chair shots with like pow, mint, crack, and it was just like really weird, and I didn't like it that much. Am I still collecting WWE/WWF DVDs? Yeah, I am. Not as actively as I was last year. I'm kind of collecting Blu-rays more now, but I'll definitely be going back to my WWF DVD collection at some point. And I'm still buying them. I'm mainly just buying Blu-rays now, though. I really would like to complete the Blu-ray collection. I've got like about 30 WWE Blu-rays right now, so I'm not far off having all of them. But yeah, I'll definitely get back into collecting WWF DVDs soon when I have the money. The Wrestling Nerd 1 asks, do you think John Cena will cheat to win at WrestleMania 28? No, I don't. I think it'll be a straight up clean match, and the winner will be very decisive. I think it'd be great if John Cena turned heel and just went nuts halfway through the match and just beat the crap out of the Rock with a chair or something and won. I think that would be like the best heel turn ever, but I don't think that'll ever happen. I think that no cheating's going to go on. Big Maca 1000 asks, best film you have watched? Again, I'm going to save that for my top 50 films series, so sorry about that. Worst film you have watched? Troll? Actually, no, it wouldn't be Troll. Worst film I've ever watched? Do you know what? The thing, I'm really positive about films. I always look on the bright side, you know, but one film I have to say I absolutely hated was last year when I went to see it in the cinema. Apollo 18. Oh, God, that was a terrible film. I mean, they put so much effort into it, but it was just so boring and so just, oh, awful, awful film. I'm sure I could think of something better than that, like maybe a Jean-Claude Van Damme film or something, but in recent memory, Apollo 18. Best WWE pay-per-view you have watched? The last one, when I answered the question earlier about the my favourite pay-per-view, I discounted any WrestleManias, so best pay-per-view I have watched would probably have to be WrestleMania 19 or Money in the Bank 2011 for various reasons, which I won't go into because I'm already on 25 minutes on this video. Worst WWE pay-per-view you have ever watched? Oh, there was one recently. I can't remember what it was now. It doesn't matter. Worst WWE pay-per-view you've ever watched? Probably like one of the SmackDown pay-per-views from like 2006 or 2005 when it was just SmackDown wrestlers and there just wasn't much going on, you know. Or maybe December to Dismember. I don't ever want to have to sit through that one again. Awful. Yeah, that's it. Robbie Webster asks, who is your favourite actor? Ooh, that is a tough one. Again, I don't think I can ever narrow it down to one person. But I would say probably my favourite actors are most of them are people who started out in comedy. Jim Carrey is one of my favourite actors. And he started off doing this wacky, crazy, zany, goofball comedy like Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, The Mask, and so on. Liar Liar. And then he went on and just kind of slowly like ebbed away the comedy and went to like The Truman Show, which was still kind of funny but more serious. And then he went to Man on the Moon, which was totally serious with a bit of humour in it. And then Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, one of my favourite films ever. I think he's an amazing dramatic actor, and I think he's a really funny actor as well. Gotta go with Jim Carrey as one of my favourite actors. Same with Robin Williams, the same thing with him. You know, he's like a motor mouth, mile a minute kind of guy. You see him in interviews, and he's just like doesn't stop improvising, you know. But then you put him in a serious role, and he's fantastic. You know, Dead Poets Society, The Awakenings, or no, just Awakenings. There's a few more. He's brilliant. Good Will Hunting. 1 Hour Photo, very creepy, but you know he plays a great part in that. Another guy who I've recently gotten into was a deceased Japanese actor called Toshiro Mifune. He's the main character in Yojimbo and Sanjuro. He played a big part in Seven Samurai. He's in a lot of films, a lot of Akira Kurosawa films. They had a great collaboration with each other. And Akira Kurosawa actually once said that of all my films, I'm proud of none of them except for the ones that I've worked on with him. So they really kind of valued their working relationship, although they fell out with each other for like decades and stuff, which is a shame. But yeah, he's a brilliant actor. Also, a film I recently saw him in was Hell in the Pacific, which was amazing. Yeah, he's in a lot of great films, Japanese films mainly, obviously. And I just love him. He's got such a charisma about him, and he's just like brilliant. Love him. Tom Hanks as well, the guy who started out in comedy, went on to more serious roles. I'm sure I'm missing loads of people now, but you know. Simon Pegg I think is great again. I think he can be really good. He hasn't really had a full-on dramatic role yet. Yeah, I'm sure I'm missing out some, so I'll maybe leave a comment at this at some point. But those are a few that stick out. Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, Tom Hanks, Toshiro Mifune. Weird list. Robert De Niro, man, Robert De Niro, one of the greatest of all time. I mean, you know, some actors kind of, you know, they have a good career and then they have this one film that's just like hits it out the park, and that's like their career-defining film. Robert De Niro just has so many of them, you know, it's mental. He's a fantastic actor and definitely one of my favourites. And then Robbie Webster also asked, what was the first film you ever saw at the cinema? Well, thank you for this, Robbie, because I inadvertently remembered one of my earliest memories when I was thinking about this question, and it would be Beauty and the Beast. I went to see this with my nan, and on researching it on Wikipedia I found out that Beauty and the Beast was released in 1991, so I must have been 3 years old when I went to see that, and I have this very kind of like hazy image or memory of seeing the opening shot of Beauty and the Beast, and I remember it being like an establishing shot with like trees and like a castle in the background, and when I got the Blu-ray I was like, oh yeah, that's it. And then I realised, hey, that must be one of my earliest memories, so thanks for that. It was Beauty and the Beast. I didn't really go to the cinema a lot when I was younger. I'm not going to carry on this story, it's going on too long. Okay, nearly done now. Big Boss 10101 asks, which wrestlers do you want to win or lose at this year's WrestleMania 28? And who do you think will win or lose their match? And then he lists the matches, so he wants to know who I want to win and who I think will win. Cena versus The Rock. I got no idea who's going to win this. I'm just like, I don't know where they're going to go with it. I feel like I'm going to talk about this in a separate video. So Big Boss 10101. Look out for my WrestleMania 28 kind of thoughts video, and I'll answer it fully in there. but I want Cena to win, and I think if I'm forced to go, I think The Rock will win. Triple H versus The Undertaker, I want The Undertaker to win. I think The Undertaker will win. Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, I want Daniel Bryan to win, and Sheamus will win 100%. I'll be willing to put money on it. CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, I'm not sure. I want Jericho to win. I love Punk, but apparently Extreme Rules is coming from Chicago in April, or maybe the end of April, beginning of May. So I think a Chicago pay-per-view with Punk going after Jericho to get his title back would be an awesome setup. Writes itself, is, you know, that'd be great. But I think Punk will win. And finally we have WWE It Begins 2012. Will John Cena turn heel? Well, the short answer is no. The long answer is, oh, hell no. John Cena will never turn heel. They tease it, but his whole character is based on the fact that he perseveres and, you know, again, rise above hate, you know, never back down, never give up, all that kind of hokey shit and stuff. I like Cena, I like his character's morals and stuff, and I think John Cena's a really cool guy in real life from what I can gather. And I don't think he's going to turn heel. I think it would be a big kind of talking point if he did, but I feel like they're not going to do it, and there's a lot of money to be made in John Cena merchandise, and he does so much, you know, work with Make-A-Wish Foundation and talking to kids and stuff. I just feel like his character will compromise that, and it's such an important part of their business, an important part of their PR, you know. And also I just think that the longer he stays face, the more it just solidifies his character, you know. I feel like the fact that he says I'm not gonna go against my morals and stuff for anyone, and the longer he doesn't, the longer he's kind of proven himself right, I guess, character-wise. So no, I don't think John Cena will ever turn heel. People have been talking about this for years and years. Oh, he's definitely going to turn heel. They're hinting at it. Well, they hinted it all the time. It never happens. So I don't think it is going to happen. Anyway, thanks for watching this, guys. If you have, it's a long one. I'm sorry about that. This was cool. Might do it again sometime in the future, maybe this year or next. I like doing these Q&A videos. I've only done one of them before, and this is kind of like my first proper one. So go easy on me. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll try and, well, it doesn't matter now, but I will try and get some sort of links up there to kind of distinguish the wrestling and movie questions from each other. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Like this video. Dislike it if you want. I don't care. Check out my vlog channel, Luke Ryan Lives, and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching.